Hi, good morning, man. Hey, I just want to talk with you real quick about the event that's scheduled to come up in June on Father's Day weekend. I just want to encourage you. I know you are going through many different things. You're being challenged in different areas and concerned about whether or not if you can afford to come, if you can make it to the event or not. Circumstances have dictated your finances, and even more so have dictated what you can do now, even more so than what you can do in the future. But I just want to share something with you real quick, share a testimony of myself and how I came to the point of where I believe that I may be positioned, or why I believe that I'm positioned to hold this event, and try to make sure that it goes off without a hitch. Roughly about 10 years ago, if not long ago, if not 10 years ago, I think it was in May of 2006. May of 2006, my pastor up in Milwaukee, Bishop Darrell Hines, and the Church of God in Christ was holding a men's conference in in North Carolina. And around that time frame, I had just recently separated from the U.S. Navy. Was working, selling life. Well, at that point, I was selling commercial insurance, commercial and business insurance. Independent agent, working hard, trying to make things happen for me and my family. And scuffled up the money so we can go down to the event, go to the event, and one of my good friends was living in the Charlotte area. So I decided to drive from, I think we were up in Raleigh, North Carolina, where the men's conference was at. But I decided to drive down to Charlotte and hang out with a buddy of mine, longtime friend of mine. And I got to looking around at the economy down in the Charlotte area. Started looking around. I was like, man, this place is pretty nice. I like this place. So I decided to not only just keep taking a look at it, because I had been, staying in the city of Milwaukee. It's very, very cold up there. Like right now it's cold up there, and you're always shoveling snow. And I kept telling my wife that after the many business ventures that I had done in the city of Milwaukee, if this next venture does not work, we're getting out of here. We're going to leave. So fast forward, we're at the men's conference. I go down to Charlotte. I look around the area, start talking to my buddy, and he's telling me, hey, man, you need to consider coming here. I think this would be a good spot for you to, to lay your head and to set roots. So I kept looking at the area, and just before I got ready to leave out and fly back to Milwaukee, I had an opportunity to go and look into this one house. And the minute I crossed the threshold in that house, I said to myself, man, I've got to come back down here. Now, you got to know that when you're an independent agent selling insurance, brand new in the industry, that you're not making a whole lot of money. So that goes to tell you I was not making a whole lot of money as I was embarking up on this insurance industry. And although I enjoyed it, but I wasn't making a lot of money. So at the same token, I was also working part-time for an airline. So the airline afforded me the opportunity to be able to travel all over the country at little or no cost, which was a blessing at that point in time. So I decided on my way back out from Charlotte, heading back up to Milwaukee, I stopped by the gate agent and getting ready to fly out on U.S. Airways. And the flight was late. So I walked up to the gate agent and started talking to her real quick. I said, hey, are you guys hiring? And she was like, well, I don't know. She said, well, the plane is late. If you want to find out, we can go and talk to the manager. So I was like, well, all right, well, that's a bet. Well, let's go talk to the manager. So we went to the back, talked to the manager, and she said, well, I have a class scheduled starting August 15th. If you're interested in coming down and starting at that class in August. So I was like, wow, that's pretty easy. Walked back out, caught the plane, and got back up to Milwaukee. I told my wife at that time, it was just after Memorial Day. And I told us, Memorial Day was coming up. And I said, you know what? We're moving to Charlotte. And she was like, huh? I was like, yep, we're moving to Charlotte. We're getting up out of this piece. No money, no means of knowing how we were going to get down there. I just knew that we were going to move out of Milwaukee. So fast forward, Memorial Day weekend come around. As Memorial Day weekend come around, we take the buddy passes that I work for the airline. We fly back down to Charlotte, get to looking around, and we determine, yep, this is the best move for us. Fly back up to Milwaukee, living out in Brown Deer. We sold everything we had in our house. When I say everything we had in the house, we sold everything, even the truck that was sitting in the driveway, I sold it. Moved into a 2-bedroom apartment with my wife, my 4 children, and my wife's cousins and her kids. All cramped up in a small apartment for a short period of time. We did that clear all the way up to August. We stayed in that apartment, lived harmoniously, didn't have any issues. Her cousin was a blessing to us to allow us to be able to stay with her for that period of time. And then when August came around, I must say, I had $20 in my pocket. I had $20 in my pocket, and I knew that I had to move my family down to Charlotte. Now, when I say I had $20 in my pocket, I literally had $20 in my pocket. But we had a few items that we need to move down to Charlotte. So I had just cashed a check from making some insurance sales, and it was in the bank. I go to the gas station to try to withdraw the money out so I can pay at that point in time, I was going to use a U-Haul and drive the U-Haul, me and my wife, from Milwaukee to Charlotte, North Carolina. And as I was trying to draw the money out, I started realizing my card wasn't working. I'm like, why isn't my card working? Bank wasn't open. So I decided I use this $20. I just going to get me some gas in my car. So that whole day, that Friday, I'm like, man, I have to move these items out of storage, and I got to take this U-Haul down to Charlotte, North Carolina. On that weekend, we was tentatively scheduled to leave. So make a long story short, wasn't able to get the money out the account. The bank called, said there was a fraudulent activity on my account. They had to send me another card. And so I had to ultimately use the money that I was going to use for the truck to drive down. I ended up transferring those funds over to a friend of mine's account so he can use his credit card to rent me the U-Haul. In the same process of doing this, and I know this is a long story, but you got to understand the dynamics of what I'm saying here. In the process of me transferring the money over to his account, I started looking around for companies that would move my furniture down to Charlotte. Now, it was going to cost me roughly around $1,700, $1,800 to rent the U-Haul, drive it down there, park it, and unload my furniture into a storage unit. Okay, so that's $1,700, $1,800. So in the period of me making this transition, I ended up finding a company that would come to the house, unload the house, pack it up, put it in the truck, drive it down to Charlotte, North Carolina, put it in storage, all for $1,600, $1,700 without me even having to touch anything or drive. That's exactly what happened. From that moment, I jumped on the plane, met the guy down in Charlotte, put the stuff in storage. The rest is history. I drove my family from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to Charlotte, North Carolina, on a hope and a prayer and the blessing. You can't tell me anything about faith without works, because we worked exactly what God had planned for us. We did exactly what God planned for us. We knew, or I knew, that my time and my season was up for the city of Milwaukee. As a matter of fact, I remember when we got ready to leave, we sat down and talked to my bishop, and he said, I know, first of all, that I cannot be upset with you all leaving. He said, but I have to understand that my most resourceful people and those that I know that are taking the words that I'm speaking and are using the words and applying the words that I'm speaking to their lives, I cannot retain them. They're going to go out and do bigger and better things, and I can't retain them here. So I share those words with you. I share that with you so you will understand that what your circumstances look like right now, what they look like right now, what your outcome may be faced with. I mean, when I was in Milwaukee, man, I was getting pulled over so much. I had so many speeding tickets. My wife got, not speeding tickets, suspended license tickets. My wife would come and get me out of jail quarterly for on an average of $1,200 to $1,500 every time she would come and get me. I remember one time getting arrested in Milwaukee. I got arrested, went into the little holding pen. I stayed there all night, all day, and I posted bail and was waiting to be processed. And when they called me and said I can go, I remember standing at the counter, getting my stuff, putting my belt and my watch and rings on, and I look to the right of me and I see these two big old cops just standing there talking. And the minute I put all my stuff on, the cop looks at me and says, "Are you Daryl Heitch?" I say, "Yes, I am." He said, "You mind putting your hands on the counter?" I say, "You've got to be kidding me." I was getting released from Milwaukee County, then getting rearrested for Waukesha County. I'm telling you, you can't tell me about why you can't do what you can't do, because I'm a living testimony to tell you that you can do it. So, hey man, take this little short blurb, this "Do you got 10 minutes? Take that information, look at it, massage it, and see how it affects your life. See how it affects the things that you want to do and how you want it to happen in your life. Sometimes you just got to step out there. Sometimes you got to do things totally different than what you wouldn't have normally done before, because of, hey, times are rough as they are. I guarantee you, and I promise you they are. But now is the time for a solution-based change. A solution-based change. So we're coming down to Orlando. We're going to get together. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk. We're going to have fun. We're going to have some. I don't want to say fellowship, because I don't want you to think that it's going to be a church setting. It's for us to grab some information, that I believe we've been cheated out of. From the black male perspective, not say that we've been cheated, meaning it's someone is holding a hand and we see them holding a hand and they're not letting us see it. I'm talking from a perspective of there's some things we just don't know. And there's someone out there who knows it, and we're going to get them to come and share it with us. So come on out. Come on down. Go on and register. Take that first step, that first leap of faith, and just register. I realize that you have things going on. You may or may not be able to make it. You may or may not, based upon your circumstances and things like that. Or you think right now you want to make it, but you don't know what's going to happen. Just go ahead and say you're going to come. And when you show up, we'll show out. Thank you. You guys have a blessed day. Looking forward to seeing you down in Orlando. Father's Day weekend for the Black Men's Wealth Summit. You're in for an adventure. Thank you.